What's good, y'all? It's Faded Bob Gnarly, bringing another shitty video. So, I made a video about my first DMT trip before, but I left out the craziest part. So this time I'm gonna actually describe the whole trip. So this takes place in 2016. I was living in Tennessee, working in Margaritaville, and somebody I worked with was like, yo, you ever tried DMT? And I'm like, nah, but I know that's the shit that makes you dream or whatever, and it gets released when you die, and I gotta try that shit. So how much for a gram? And he's like $70, and I'm like, I think I'm some type of lick, dude. I'm thinking weed prices. This was before my cocaine days, so I'm like, $70 for a fucking gram? You gotta be fucking with me. But I looked it up and I was like, okay, run that shit. I need a gram. And I didn't know anything about DMT besides the fact that it's apparently the shit that your brain releases when you die. And yeah, so I didn't know if he was gonna come through, so I got off work. Me and my friend both dropped 2 tabs, and this shit was fucking fire, this acid. It was white on white, it's the shit that's cut with scissors, it's not perforated, and it had a Grateful Dead print on it, and it was apparently Family Fluff, which is the best of the best. And I believe it because I was fucking tripping, and this was some clean acid, no fucking back pain or anything. This was some clean ass shit. So I'm just about peaking, and he actually just shows up in my house with the DMT, and I was like, fuck. But he's like, yo, can I watch you smoke it? I want to know what this shit does. I'm just the middleman, but I'm like, I know enough about this shit to know that, I don't want somebody I barely know to watch me smoke it for the first time. I'm probably about to, be fished out on the couch. And so he's like, yo, whatever, here's your DMT, where's my money? Not literally, but basically that was the vibe. And, so yeah. Sorry, I had to fix the camera. I'm shaking, I'm really fucking high right now. I took some Phenibut, and yeah, I'm really fucking feeling. So yeah, I have the DMT, and he leaves, and I pack some up in a bowl. We put some weed in, some DMT, some more weed, and not knowing anything about DMT, I probably put 0.2, 0.3 in that bowl. And yeah, so we were told by the guy not to touch the flame to it if we didn't have a meth pipe or whatever. So we tried barely touching the flame to it, and we just got really intense tracers, and it was the acid already had me seeing tracers and shit. And this it was insane. Everything was vibrating, and it was just so weird. And we walked over to my neighbor's house. It was apartments. Well, technically it was a hotel. This was a jank ass hotel. They called it Crackhead Hill because they do weekly rentals and shit. So there's a bunch of crackheads and people cooking meth in there and shit. And yeah, we walked over to my neighbors, and I just remember it being borderline hard to walk, and it lasts 5 minutes. And then we came back. I think we did a few dabs or something at my neighbors. We came back and we were okay, we have a gram of this shit, so it's not gonna hurt to torch some of it, just go balls deep and suck the flame through the bowl and just burn the fuck out of that shit and see if that works. So my friend did it first, and he hit it, and he was like, "Yup, that's how you do it." And then he like laid back on the couch, and yeah, so like I was like, "Fuck, here we go." Like this is about to be something else, you know? Like it was like completely different than somebody I see like on acid and like just tripping, like that sort of shit. He like laid back immediately, like I knew this is about to be intense. So yeah, I got the bowl and I torched it, and instantly like the tracers were like predicting my movements. Like I had like an end table right next to me, and I hit it and I like went to sit the bowl down, but I saw tracers in my hand sitting the bowl down before I even moved my hand, and my hand like followed the tracers. I still to this day am mind boggled by that shit. 'Cause, like, how do the tracers like? It's like I was like breaking the fabric of time. Like I don't fucking know. It literally blows my mind every time I think about that. But yeah, so like it was instantly like overwhelming, and like I remember hearing this ringing sound, and like the carpet like had a pattern on it, and it looked like conveyor belts. Like it was like the pattern was like flowers, and the flowers were growing, and there was like a little like line pattern going around the flowers, and it was like the lines were like going in different directions and like intertwining and shit, and like the carpet just came alive. Like I was like, does that thing have a heartbeat right now? Like it was like breathing. Like so yeah, I instantly felt like I needed to lay back, and when I closed my eyes, I still get goosebumps thinking about that moment. When I closed my eyes, it was like these colors, and they were just whooshing in different directions, and the colors like seemed intelligent, like they had something to like teach you. And then the colors like started like forming into like these shapes, and like it was very like intrinsic, and like just felt like there was some sort of like algorithm to like the way the colors were forming together, and like this algorithm was like embedded in my genetic coding, and like it felt like it was speaking to something very deep in me, like primal, and like it was just like letting me know that like this was going to be a life-changing experience. And I didn't go any deeper that time because like I was scared I was gonna die. I didn't know anything about DMT. So yeah, instantly after that, like I didn't even say anything, and my friend who hit it after me, who was also on acid, was like, dude, I felt like I was dying. Like, did he give us some bad shit? And so we looked it up, like, does DMT feel like you're dying? And I was like, yeah. So we were like, let's go way deeper then, because like we're not actually gonna die, and like this shit is fucking profound. Like let's fucking go as deep as we can. But it wasn't that easy, because being on acid and DMT is like one of the fucking scariest things. Like not scary in like a bad way, but like scary like this shit will fucking change you. Like I'm getting goosebumps right now. It was literally, yeah, it did change me forever, but in a good way. So yeah, torched it one time. Wanted to torch it again, but it was so scary. Like it felt like it was like, oh my god. It was just like I couldn't keep my eyes open because I was afraid of what I saw. And like when I looked in my friend's face, who I should mention was born on the same exact day as me, and we looked the exact same. Like it's so weird. Like we met and he like had the same hairstyle, we listened to the same music, the same like family situation with his dad being absent and stuff. It's just the weirdest shit. But I looked at his face and he looked like a troll. Like he literally was like, it was terrifying. And everything like seemed like sharp, like it was gonna poke me, like the world was just like closing in on me and like wilting and dying to the point where I couldn't keep my eyes open. And yeah, so like I hit it a second time. It took everything in me. And by the third time, like, it wasn't that I was afraid to hit it, it's that my hand wasn't like moving. Like my hand wanted to like go down because like I literally felt like everything was moving, like, and like I'm just like sitting there like falling into myself, and like, but I managed to hit it again just one time, like a very tiny hit, and that's when it went like completely ape shit. Like my eyes might have been open, but I couldn't see anything in front of me, and it was basically just like those same colors, except this time they were like forming into like more intricate shapes and then turning into like these like arm things that look like the cosmic serpents that you hear about. Like it was almost like snakes, and then they like formed into like a circle, and it felt like I was moving through this tunnel, and it felt like I was approaching a door, like a very distinct feeling of like coming to the end of a hallway and there's a door, and this door was like the very edge of my psyche. Sorry, I'm like really trying hard to like think of words for this. Usually I'd be better, but like I'm pretty faded right now. So yeah, I got to the door, and I think I could have went through it if I wanted to, but that's just it. I didn't want to. I felt like it wasn't the right time. I wasn't in the right place, and not the right mindset, because I knew what was on the other side of that door, even though I'd never been through it. And I knew that what was on the other side of that door was gonna change my life forever. And I just couldn't. So we waited a while. We didn't smoke any for a bit, and my friend was like, dude, it literally feels like we were all like laying there dying. Like we felt the vibe in the room. We were like, dude, I know somebody's overdosed in here, because like I felt like that person, and it was just intense. And it was like it was called Crackhead Hill or Pill Hill, so I bet somebody had overdosed in that room. And yeah, so like we decided to go outside and smoke some on this picnic table that was at the end of like the hotel like complex, and there were like some lights under it or above it and shit, and we were just laying under these lights. And it was just me and my friend Tyler, who was born on the same day. He wasn't on acid, so he wasn't really like as incoherent when he smoked it. In fact, he didn't ever like seem like he like was out of it. Like he was just smoking it and like just going hard. Like I don't understand, because I've smoked DMT not on acid since, and I couldn't have smoked as much as he did without like falling out. So yeah, he was just like handling it really fucking well, I guess. But yeah, so we're sitting on the park bench, and we're like prepared for takeoff, motherfucker. You know, and like, so he hit the bowl first, and then he handed it to me, and I ripped it one time, and that's when I blasted off. Like, holy shit. Oh my god, I have fucking goosebumps right now just thinking about it. Like, oh my fucking god. Okay. So this was probably the most intense moment of my entire life. Like, this is what fucking changed me. So it started off just like dark. And this whole time, like, I'm sitting there on this park bench like this, my head's just down between my legs, like, and when I came out of it, like, my hair was all in my face and I was drooling. Like, I had drool, like, all coming out of my mouth and in my hair, because my hair was down here and shit, and like, I was like down bad, you know, like, but okay, so like started off dark, and then like felt like I was whooshing like through space, because there were like these, it looks like in No Man's Sky, if you ever played that, when you like go into hyperdrive and the stars are like whooshing past, except they weren't like in a straight line, like they were like doing these crazy fucking movements and shit, and like I was hearing like chanting type sounds, except it wasn't human voices, it was like angelic, and it sounded like throat singing. If you ever heard of like Tuvan throat singing, whatever, like it's some shit like but yeah, so I'm whooshing through this thing, and like it's like basically telling me like we're about to do surgery on your soul. It felt like I was like being wheeled into ICU on like a stretcher into the emergency room, and my soul was like critically injured. And at the end of this tunnel, that's the tricky part, because I can't really remember much between the part where I was whooshing through those like twisting colors and when I got to the operating room. And oh my fucking god. So once I got there, it was like this extremely bright light. It was like blinding me, except like the same time, like it was like comforting me. And I was staring into it, and I saw like these three beings standing over me. Holy shit, like, I don't like to think about this much, because when I think about this, like, I dwell on it for a long time, because it's like, that really fucking happened. And yeah, so like these three beings are like standing above me, and they were like using light to like, this like light that they were projecting was like going into my soul and like patching shit up and like giving me these like memories of like things I didn't even know happened as a child, and helping me think of those memories in a new way that like helps me like get past like what's really bothering me, and like just, it's so hard to describe. Like, they were just doing surgery on my soul, and it like completely altered the path of my life. And like, god damn, this shit like gets me emotional. I just can't believe that happened. So it just felt like they kind of left me with like homework to do, because they said, we can't do the work for you, we can help you see things in a new light, but it's up to you to apply the things that we're going to teach you. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm still doing it, because even like just now, like I'm still remembering things from that trip. And a lot of it, there are no English counterparts. That's why I'm like so at a loss for words, because like in another one of my DMT trips, like I started speaking in tongues, and like there were no English counterparts for like the words that were coming out of my mouth, but they were like deep shit that was like about like just outside of like just this lifetime, like your soul's journey. Like it was like a language of your soul, like things outside of the third dimension, like concepts and like just, oh my god, I suck describing things. I hope this is alright. So yeah, after that, I just turned on a Terrence McKenna lecture, and I kept trying to blast off again, but I was doing it too often, so my tolerance was like way down. But yeah, so fuck, I was gonna describe that way better, but it's just so fucking hard. So yeah, I guess that's it for now. I think I took down the trip report from my latest DMT trip, so if y'all actually enjoyed this, which I doubt you will, then let me know and I'll like do a trip report on my last DMT trip, which was even crazier. Just to like give you a synopsis, I basically learned to like speak in tongues, and like it was like I just want to think. I think that's my cue to get on out of here. I'm like really fucking high, if you couldn't tell by now. So yeah, I don't even know if I'm gonna post this fucking life. Stay tuned, turn on, drop out.